Okay, g'day again everyone. Right, hopefully I showed you how much work had to go into these doors. Yeah, there's a lot of welding. Because I'm a bit impatient, there was a little bit of buckling, nothing extensive, but yeah, then, because it already had dents in it, I tried to knock them out a little bit, but I'm not a panel beater by any stretch of the imagination, so yeah, you finish it off with putty, and in this case there's quite a lot, not terribly thick, but it's covered the whole surface of the door in putty pretty much. So what I've done from there, I've got a 2-pack primer, and it's had at least 3 very heavy coats of unthinned 2-pack primer over it. And what I'm doing now is rubbing this back with wet 240. This will get primed again, and just show you sort of what I've learned. It's actually looking pretty good. It's cleaning off fairly simple. This has been guide coated. You just give a very light mist spray with your cheapest black or whatever colour tube enamel, and this is a plasterboard sander. I like this. It's got a thin foam back. It takes a half sheet of paper, and it can be used dry, wet, whatever. It locks the paper on. You don't have to worry about holding the paper or anything like that. You get these from any of your plasterboard supplies or hardware. On the surface like this, you need to go lots of angles, and go quite wide. You can see where this is why I use the 2-pack primer. I've been over and over this with both sander, an orbital sander, with a speed file, and you think you've got it pretty good, pretty straight, but as soon as you put a full colour on it, you can see where the lows are. See where there's still got paint? These are low spots. So if I hadn't done this, they would be quite visible in the shine. And when you get to places like here, because you've got 2 edges, you sort of can't really go too wide, but like if I was to just sit here and just rub that bit, I'd end up with another low. You have to take off the primer that's around it until you wear it down to where your guide coat is gone. And you change your angles. I do have, is that metal? Hard to see in the light, yeah. So I've got metal showing here. I have 2 options. Also got metal showing here, we'll get away with that, because I'm going to give another coat of paint. This bit here, actually I might get away with that. I can actually feel it, but it's still very thin. What I probably will do actually is I'll give that a little bit of a tap. I'll get a little bit of a punch. I'll give it just a very light tap, just enough to put it below the surface, and I'll put a little more putty in that. I could probably get away with a few coats of primer, probably get that, but yeah, no. Actually, I probably won't tap it because that's weld. So I did have to cut all the way down here. That's a weld that's a bit high that I haven't gone off enough. So yeah, I think I'll probably just, yeah, I won't tap it. I'll just take that off a little with a grinder, put a little bit more putty in it. Yeah. Okay. Right. Same goes up here. Now when you get the curves like this, you have to follow the curve. But if you just go like this, you can end up with it uneven. So you have to go along the curve, sort of round it on the curves, but also go along. And a flat surface, like, oh, it's not completely flat, it has got a curve in it, but yeah, it's basically a flat surface. So if you don't use a big block like this, you'll end up with highs and lows in it again. I hope I'm not videoing nothing. I'm actually watching the job, not watching the video. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but yeah. And yeah, keep dipping it, plenty of water. That keeps your paper clear. Yeah, this is why you have to guide coat these things. And it's also why I use the 2-pack primer as a final filler. It's, well, you get different layers of putty and then you hit bare metal, and you can't sort of finish it off that way, like get it right until you've got, yeah, one colour, yeah, one texture and thick one, and yeah, hardness of filler. Yeah. As I said, the different applications of putty and things, you know, they set, like, you know, one, I suppose if I were to measure exactly the amount of hardener and get real technical about it, I could get, you know, a consistent hardness in the putty, but yeah, that's a pretty difficult thing to do. So, as I said, just having it one colour just helps you see where you're going. You can see there's a little tiny spot which probably was a pinhole in the putty. But yeah, don't be tempted to just rub like that, because you'll just create a layer. You have to wear down the entire surface until it's gone. If I didn't have guide coat on it, I wouldn't be able to see that, and I wouldn't know it was there. pinholes are actually quite deep. I'm taking off quite a bit here. And this was also the reason why I threw 3 thick coats of primer on here, because I knew it would be fairly uneven, and it has to be thick enough to be able to rub it flat without rubbing through it. I've almost got these pinholes. And, probably what would have been easier actually, or would have been better, but I never seem to think of it. Oh, I do occasionally, but it would have been to just go along, find the pinholes and dab a little bit in each pinhole, rub that back, do all that before I primer it. But I find the primer, generally fills pinholes usually easier than this actually. As I said, these pinholes must have been quite deep. And pinholes are caused by the way you mix your putty actually, but given it's summer, the putty goes off quickly. You don't have time to mess around with it too much. You just get it mixed quick and you get it on there. But, yeah. Anyway, I've just about got this side done. Just a little more rubbing. There's still a couple of marks. Just there, a couple of little low spots. And it's a bit more up here around the handle. So I'll go over that a bit more. So anyway, I won't bore you with that. And this will be, once I get this re-primed, there's a couple of bits on the body itself that weren't up to scratch, between the windscreen and the bonnet. I had to put a bit more. I had to match up the edging cover to the back of the body, which, as I mentioned in the previous video, I should have done that whilst I was welding it before I even got to this stage. But yeah, so this is about to do all of this. All the I think I've got all the inner bits finished. I've actually put a red primer on the inside of this. So I scrubbed this back with a paint stripping wheel, which is like a scourer, fits on the angle grinder. This was actually quite rusty all around this edge, and it takes it off, but you've still got tiny little bits of it in little pitting areas where you can't really get it out. I went over it again with a wire wheel, but just to be sure, I think I got like 99% of it off, so pretty confident. But I decided to put the red oxide on there as well, just in case. That will prevent it coming back through. And being an enamel, normally I wouldn't put an enamel under any sort of primer or acrylic 2-pack of acrylic paint, but I have tried this before, and the 2-pack primer goes over this red without any problem at all. So it doesn't lift, doesn't soften it. It's a very good product, this red oxide. I really like it. And in case you missed any of the other bits, you can see the weld all the way in there. We're going to replace the whole bottom 2 inches of the door, pretty much the same on the other side, and reform all these under pieces. There's like 4 different pieces, 4 separate pieces in there. And then after I did that, I found that there was rust in these corners, so I've had to weld in these corners. They still need a bit of grinding actually. So yeah, a bit of grinding, a little bit of putty on them as well, which I'll get to. But yeah, anyway, I wouldn't bore you too much with the rubbing, but yeah, we should see all the paintwork finished soon, and that will be the next video. I'll give this, as I said, another coat of primer. This time I will thin the primer down, lay it on as paint. I'll still put 2 or 3 coats on it, but it'll be much thinner, without, there's places on here where I've sprayed it on so thick that it's got big runs and whatever in it, but which isn't really an issue when you're rubbing it with 240, but if you're trying to rub them out with a 400, you'll end up with it uneven again. So yeah, when you get to this final coat of primer, you put it on like paint so that it's easy to rub back, and yeah, so you're not going to get it out of shape in the process. So yeah, the next video will either be rubbed back ready for paint or fully painted and going back on the car. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and yeah, I was just looking at the YouTube things, YouTube qualifications for getting paid, and I wasn't going to do this, but yeah, I'm always struggling to be able to buy the things I need. I've got these 2 project cars, I've got a bike that needs fixing, and then my daily driver car is needing repairs as well. So yeah, struggling to find the money to buy all these bits and pieces that I need. So yeah, if you watch the video, you like it, hit the like, but even better, subscribe. If I can get up to 1,000 subscribers, I've already got enough views. I need 4,000 views, and they're already putting me ads on my videos. So yeah, boy, if they're going to do that, they should actually be paying me. But I can't get to that point unless I've got 1,000 subscribers, and I'm something like 850 short of that. So anyway, if you feel like subscribing, please do. And if you don't bother to watch any more of my videos, I'd appreciate it. So thank you.